Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Parlay Revival. Last week you saw us install Cyclops load sensors, which was really interesting for all of us. So flick back an episode if you want to check that out.
I think we'll just get it sort of hand tight. Yeah. And do the other side.
This week we're going to show you why composite thru-hulls are the way of the future. So that is pretty much a permanent feature in your boat now. You will not have to replace it. And I'll also take you through our solution to the escape hatch issue on catamarans.
When we're sailing, the water's like going up and down like that,
which have been known to fail and sink quite a few boats over the years. So I'm Colin, and this is the crew of Parlay Revival. From hurricane damaged to broken bulkheads and getting struck by lightning not once but twice, to being the strongest and fastest Lagoon 450 on the planet. We've already sailed 25,000 miles to get here, and nothing is going to stop us from circumnavigating the globe. So subscribe to follow our journey around this beautiful planet. 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the things you did. So what are you waiting for?
Okay, so these are all our TruDesign thru-hulls. So I made this diagram here of all of the things we're replacing. There's 30 items. So to keep track of it all, I put the location, number, and what it does. We've also got just the general list of everything like that. Every single setup I've written down what it is. So now we can just start fitting them together loosely just to make sure we've got everything, because again, this is something that can stop us from going in the water. There we go. Even got a new diverter valve here to send the waste to the holding tank or straight overboard if we're out at sea. Okay, see if we can figure that out. Yeah. So number one would be where the bilge goes out. Yep. Number one. Yep. So it's a 1-inch barb. Yep. These are composite, so they're 30% fiberglass and 70% nylon. So they last forever and there's zero corrosion issues. You saw the state of some of those bronze fittings that came out of the boat. That is scary. That has the ability to sink your boat. Your boat's anchored or it's in a marina somewhere and one of those just starts to crack, water pisses in, no one's on the boat. You've got a serious problem if the bilge pumps can't keep up, and even if they can keep up, they'll probably burn out eventually. So today we want to get them all in the hulls, so that tomorrow we can put all of the valves and everything on. It's interesting, when you do these valves and thru-hulls and stuff, a hose size is determined by the ID, or the internal diameter of it. A valve is determined by the size of the thread, but the thread is bigger than 1 inch, for example, but that is 1 inch there. For example, that is a 1.5 inch hose that goes onto there. That's a 3/4 inch hose that goes onto there. But all of this is 1.5 inch. So that's why we wanted to have all of these off before. Look at that. And then this was so tight to get off that we had to put a wooden bung through the hole and hole saw the entire flange part of that skin fitting off. Woo! Another reason we did this is some of these weren't even moving, which is dangerous as well. Anyway, we're going to go with composite now. You stick it in from the outside and it goes click, and that's going to stop it from turning. So the procedure is, we're using Sika 291. You can use other products, just read the installation manual. It's all about just reading the manuals and just doing it exactly how they say to avoid problems. So in New Zealand we can get Sika 291 off the shelf easily. So beat around there, bang it in, and the guy on the inside will put the washer on and then put the nut on and just do it up firm, hand tight. And then 24 hours later, when this is all set, we're going to get the tool on there and just crank that up the final bit, and that's just gonna bring it all together and just seal it forever basically, because these aren't gonna have to come out. After that, we've got a load-bearing collar. So that'll go on and sit nicely up against the hull there. With this on there, it's rated to 500 pounds. That's like 2 of Jamie's. You could literally stand on that and it won't break. And then this guy comes on, you screw that on, and then that'll lock into place. So that's got a little checked out piece there, and then there's your seacock, and the Sikaflex in there will just lock that in place. So that is pretty much a permanent feature in your boat now. You will not have to replace it. I like that. And they're made right here in New Zealand. You can see what's going to happen. There's too much thread there. It's going to bottom out there, and the collar is going to be loose. So we can measure the thickness of the hull here, plus the thickness of those two. So 15 plus 16 is 31. We're going to go between 15 and 20 mil past the nut, exactly like in that diagram. So 31 plus 15 is 46. 46 is there. So you want to just tape that straight up. That's 46, so this should be 20. Oh, sorry, this should be 15. Bang on. So minimum 15. That's right, eh? 15 to 20. So now we can just basically check the hull thicknesses of these and just cut them all the same. As long as the hull thickness is the same, then that length will be the same. Let's go. 16 mil. Perfect, so it's between 15 and 20. One thing that Jeff says as well is not to wipe these with thinners or acetone or alcohol or anything like that. It can react with the Sikaflex, stop it from curing perfectly. If someone uses a sink right now, it's gonna go straight on my head.
Jamie, run the sink!
That's one that Jamie did earlier, so that we can use the sink just for... He's doing it! She was joking! Well, okay, luckily we're still dry over here. So to be safe, we just washed it with soapy water and then rinsed it. Let's go. First one, underwater. That's above the waterline. Just get a nice bead all around the face of that. And she goes. Oh yeah, you can see it splurging out all around. Beauty. Okay, you go hand tight.
Okay.
Beauty. So you can just see it splurge out a little bit there, all around. That's beautiful. That is going to be a perfect seal. And tomorrow we're just going to crank up on that a tiny bit. As easy as that. Next. This is why we're doing this. This is only 6 mil hull here. That's 10 mil, and then up here was 15 mil. So you can't just use one hull thickness for the whole lot. Got it. Ah, shit! It's actually a lot harder to cut than you'd think, which is a good thing. It means that it's all the fiberglass in there. We've got a metal cutting blade there. Okay, so this one's different. The big 2-inch one doesn't need a collar, so that'll just go hard up against the nut there, and that ain't going nowhere. So these big ones don't require a collar. Morning guys. Okay, this is our last full day here in Port Whangarei Marine Centre. We've all got a trip down to Auckland tomorrow, so yeah, got to get a lot of shit done. We've got to get all the thru-hulls completely finished. We have to get this out. So you heard what happened with the SD60. We've broken one of the parts. Now we've had to put the old SD50 back in. I inquired about just getting a new clutch assembly. That was going to be more expensive than a whole new sail drive, because you have to buy each component individually, so that's not happening. So in goes the SD50. It was working perfectly fine, so there's no reason why it shouldn't be operational still. We've got to test this engine that Corey put the brand new injector pump on. We got a lot to do. We got to put the propspeed on, both the sail drives and the props as well, so the girls are going to take care of that. So greasing up the spline before she goes in. Okay, go up. Okay, now you're going to be coming down slowly. Come down slowly. Down a touch. Hey, Dad.
Yeah, I got it.
So now that the sail drive was in place, the girls could start on the propspeed application.
Okay, what we have is the strip speed. This is going to strip the paint. But yeah, the key to this is to get it on thick. See, it's already pulling the paint away. We'll give it 30 minutes. Okay, we're up to stage 2 of the TruDesign thru-hulls. So they're all done like you saw yesterday, and we've left them for 24 hours. So the Flex is now dry. Now we're just gonna get the multi-grips and tighten the nut down, and then that thru-hull will be done. Yep. Beautiful. And I guess this just compresses that sealant that we used there and ensures like a proper watertight seal. Let's go. Good. That looks good. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna put the collar on. And put this on. Just gonna go to where it's tight, and then we can go back a quarter turn if we need to. Okay, I just got it nice and snug. It's looking really good. This collar's tight, valve's tight, everything's beautiful. So we'll just put the tail on now.
That's enough.
Yep.
Easy.
That's it. Okay. First 2 thru-hulls are done. Here we go. Coming off beautifully there.
Wow. Like magic.
You like it?
It is actually pretty satisfying seeing all the paint fall off.
Okay. Escape hatch talk. This glass here is just siliconed in there. There's no dogs or anything holding it in place. Goyot, who manufacture these, know that they're a danger. So they sent everyone these brackets. We installed them in Panama, and they just went like that. But that's all that was really holding. That was your only fail-safe, and I don't like it. What we've gone with is just bigger, longer, and more brackets. So this is solid fiberglass on the side, so it's all just going to be locked in there by 3 massive brackets rather than 2 of those. So it's just another one of those things that I want to do that make me rest easy when we're in huge seas like we were coming up the west coast of New Zealand here. It was only a couple $100 to get all of these made up. Just if the silicon does break, these are going to be holding it in on the sides and the bottom. If you were wondering what these are and what they're for, these are an emergency escape hatch. There's a hammer on the inside of it. In the case where the boat flipped, this would be one way to get out. You could swim out through the salon, but another way is to smash the glass and come out. If someone made it out first and there was someone trapped in there, There's also a hammer by the life raft on the outside of the boat, so then grab that, smash it, and let that person out. So extremely unlikely that you'd ever need these. A lot of people do cut these out and just glass over them, because these have been known to sink many boats. If this glass pops out, when we're sailing, the water's like going up and down like that. So it's yeah, I hate the idea of them, to be honest, but you know, if the boat did flip, you'd be kicking yourself if you had glassed over them and you couldn't get out of the boat. So there's a lot of discussion about these things online. Do your own research if you want to sort of get rid of them or not. But some of the more modern boats are getting made without escape hatches. And then you look at that boat's one, it's way high. It's about 800 mils above the waterline. So the fact that these are so close to the waterline is the issue. That's all I have to say about that.
There we go, both sides done and dusted. That is so much better. Now I'm not gonna have to worry about them at all. Okay, here we are down on port side now. I've just filled up the sail drive, the ST50, back up with the good high performance Quicksilver gear oil. I've actually just done an oil change on this bad boy as well. And now we're gonna run it with the brand new high pressure pump. But what I'm gonna have to do is bleed the system. So these are all loose. So Jamie's gonna turn it over. Okay, beautiful. You can see we've got fuel at every injector now, so I'm just gonna torque them up. Okay, Jamie, it should start now. To my absolute shock, the engine was smoking like crazy. I checked and rechecked the timing. I consulted the local injector pump expert, who was also at a loss about the situation. I was left with no choice but to put the old pump back on, to eliminate the possibility that it was a serious problem with the engine itself. If this doesn't smoke, there's something different about the timing. But even the injector pump pro said he doesn't understand why that pump wouldn't work. We've tried to retard it and we've tried to advance it, and still just super smoky. So I have a feeling this is not going to be smoky, because it wasn't when we drove over here and hauled out. So something really strange is going on here. Yeah. Okay, let's bleed it. Okay, fire it up. No smoke. Oh, I don't know how to explain that, guys. Brand new pump. Even the injector guy said there's no other adjustments on this apart from rotating it. It's pretty frustrating. I just spent $4,000 on this pump, and I want this one in there. So the fuel is going in too late and not burning completely and causing this black smoke. I hate it when I can't think of a solution. Meanwhile, the girls had gotten the sail drives and props back to bare metal, so they were on to the next stage of the process.
Next step, we sand.
All the shafts have been sanded and they're ready to go. So let's just read through these instructions, because I have no idea what we're doing. It's very important that you follow each step though, or else it won't dry correctly.
You guys have seen us do this a few times now, but the first step is the prop clean, which are the blue rags that clean the metal after sanding. Now we're doing the prop prep, and that gets wiped off immediately as well. As Britt said, you have to follow the instructions to a T or you won't get good results. Next is the etch primer, which has solids usually built up in the bottom of the can, so you need to make sure you mix it thoroughly. You throw in the hardener, Give it another really good mix, and you're away.
Okay, so the girls have done 2 coats of the etch primer. Now this is the clear coat. This is actually the part that is the anti-foul. The etch primer just helps this stick to it. But this is the most important coat. And they're done.
So don't screw it up, no pressure.
Thanks so much for watching all the way till the end, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and join us next week as we nervously splash and see if any of our thru-hulls are taking on water.